Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from Inner Sphere. And today we're going to be doing the Galahad Glass Spider. Depending on what side of the aisle you're on, it's a clan mech, 60 tons. It's a 4.60 with a pair of Gauss rifles. Yes, a pair of Gauss rifles from the age of, well, let's go back and beat people down. Alright, it's a clan mech. Like I said, 60 tons. Basically, kind of started at its look at kind of like a rifleman. It's like, hey, can we upscale a rifleman with some goodies? And this is the result of it from the clan perspective. It's supposed to be an anti-aircraft mech. Now, it does have endo steel and ferrofibrous armor, which I can't understand why any mech that the clans put out don't have at least one of those. Unless you're a Daiashi and you have 50.5 tons of pod space with full armor, you really probably don't need to worry about it too much. Because you want all that pod space for all those goodies called weapons. Now, okay, it does have 10 double heat sinks. Really, that just comes with the engine. It really doesn't need any more than that. It has 201 points of armor, which is max. And then the weapons. Well, it has Gauss rifle in the left arm, and a Gauss rifle in the right arm. It has 2 tons of ammo in the left arm, and 2 tons of ammo in the right arm. And center torso, 1 ton of ammo. Yeah. So you're looking at a mech that has 40 shots for 2 Gauss rifles, so yeah, you can sit there and pump out 20 per rifle and just kick back and just sit there and find yourself a nice place to park and go to town. Yes, indeed. That's the nice thing about the Galahad. And I got some great stories of over the years of playing the Galahad. There was like one game I was in with a Galahad. Stepped on the board. This was at Gen Con, and the individuals across the way, they had some type of assault mech, and I was like, okay, you're at range 22. I need 12s to hit, and I was like, why not? This game won't last 20 turns, so I'm just going to fire them anyway. And I did, and connected with one rolling boxcars. I was like, okay, that's great. Where's it go? Roll the dice again. Boxcars again. And congratulations, your assault mech no longer has a head. And did they get to fire back? No, because the longest range weapon they had was 21. And they were not happy. And another great story was over at Gen Con. It was like we were playing clans again, and Inner Sphere, and they come whipping in there. They had, I think it was against the Wolf's Dragoons, and they had a Annihilator across the way. Oh, obviously, the Annihilator, he could only fire it. The version only had a range of like 15, 18. And he turned around and, well, stepped out there, and I put 2 slugs into a right torso. There's 30 damage. And it's like, ooh, that's gonna leave a mark. And then my brother happened to have another assault mech, and he put 3 ERPPCs into or 2 ERPPCs in the same spot, so 60 damage all together, and kaplunk. Annihilator that went down without even firing a shot. So that's just the way Battletech seems to work sometimes. But overall, it's one of those mechs that can just sit there and fire practically all day in game terms. You know, it's like, how many times have you ever played a game that lasted 20 turns? I've had a lot to go 12 to 14, 15 turns, but I don't think I've ever had one go 20. Unless you had a running gun battle that you just keep moving the terrain as you go, as you're going that route. But, you know, I've never had that happen before. Most of the time, by turn 10, 12, everything has been obliterated. Most of the time, most games, 6 to 8 turns and it's done. So the Galahad is one of those ones that can just find a spot. Let's say you can find a hill with some heavy woods, just park yourself in it and don't move. And anything that gets within range, just send the love pills downrange. Let them have it. Now, there are well, the one thing about it is that it's not slow. Being a 4.6, it's quite capable of moving around on the battlefield if it does need to displace and find itself a new firing solution someplace else if it has to. And my advice is, if you don't have to move, don't. That's just the way it is. But if you do have some movement. But everything is wrapped up in those 2 Gauss rifles. Now, there are a few variants of this mech. Okay, the Glass Spider number 2. This version came out in 2952 by Clan Wolf. And the arm-mounted Gauss rifles have been replaced with 2 large pulse lasers and 2 medium pulse lasers and 3 small pulse lasers in the right torso. There's 2 medium pulse lasers in the left torso. And then it all has a targeting computer to back it up with 16 double heat sinks. Yeah. So basically, you're, pretty much, this is a cool running mech. So you're from range 20 to 13, you're only firing 2 large pulse lasers. That's 20. If you run, that's 22. And you got 32. So you got plenty. You could take 2 engine hits and still be running cool. That's just one good thing about it. It's not until you get in close with those small pulse lasers that you actually start seeing any type of heat. And really, this is a mech. This version is kind of oversynced. I would personally probably would have gone with maybe some jump jets or something. Go that route. At least give it a little slight more mobility, even if it's a 4.63. 3 jump isn't that much, of a problem. You could even snake out some of those 1 heat sink and leave you at 30, and give yourself be a 4.64. Go that route. And I'd be more than happy with that kind of mobility when it comes to the mech. Because when you look at it, you're wrapping at least one of those small pulse lasers, even though they go out a fair distance, like 6. Still, I think you might be better off with some jump jets. Knock off a heat sink and the small pulse lasers, or you could even knock off. You easily go down to 15, and you're not going to worry too much about the heat, unless you jump and fire everything. Then you got that. But with the targeting computer, with all pulse lasers, you're looking at a mech that is going to be doing a lot of damage over time. You may not have that heavy hitting that you had with the 2 Gauss rifles, but when you've got a -3 and let's say you put a 3 pilot in there, that's a -4. That's like shooting at short range all the time with just sitting there. And if you park yourself in a wooded hex or something where you don't have like a heavy woods and you're not worried about moving any, it's the best you can always hope for if you're a 4.6 mover is 2 mod, and if you're in heavy woods, why bother? All right, just park yourself and give it to them. All right, now there is another version of this mech. That's the Glass Spider 3, put out by Clan Starradder. This came out in 3065, a little bit farther down the line from this book. It's a redesign, and what they done was replace the large pulse lasers with ERPPCs. Okay, I can get behind that too, because you're retaining the 15 damage blocks that you would have normally with the 2 Gauss rifles, and you're doing it a lot more efficient. You already have the heat sinks to go with it, so a pair of ERPPCs with 16 dissipating heat, you can run and fire those 2 and still remain cool. All right, so To me, that's a logical replacement. And you still get that hard-hitting weapon system. And you have the two medium pulse lasers are retained, and all the smalls are exchanged for 3 heavy medium lasers. That's a 1-for-1 change. Little hard hitting compared, and they're harder to hit with. You know, you get that one mod, but you know they do a lot more damage than the pulse lasers. So version 2 is a version that you use to just hammer down on somebody. Is like it's going to be a respectable constant hitter, and once you get that thing up close, you know, you're just ripping slobs of armor off people. Version 3 is a little bit more in the longer range hard hitting, and you still got the targeting computer. So at least you have that -1 with the heavy. So now when you got the heavy lasers with the targeting computer, it offsets each other. So it's kind of like net zero, kind of a neutral effect there. And the PPCs are only affected by your movement. So if you walk, it's net zero. You run, it's only, you know, the +1 instead. All right. The version 4, this is produced by the Wolf Empire. And, well, this one finally puts in a Clan XL engine with a supercharger. So it's got some speed with more tonnage. So now you got with the two, in place of the 2 Gauss rifles in each arm, you have Hag 20s. Okay, so Hag 20s, you're doing a lot of damage with the Hag 20s. And you got 7 tons of ammunition to go with it. And you still have 3 ER small lasers and 1 torso. And also has a targeting computer to go with it. So there you have that going with the entire thing. Overall, I've never been overly a big fan of the Hag weapon systems, but you know, your mileage may vary. Some individuals love them, you know, others are just like kind of a neutral when it comes towards them. I'm kind of that group myself. Just like, it's just another weapon system. If I have a mech that has it on there and it's handed to me, I'll use it. But it's not one of my go-to type of weapon systems. I just like, hey, I must have the Hag system. So that's just the way I look at it. So overall, that is the Glass Spider / Galahad. All the versions have their uses. It's pretty much a good mech. I like it. Though I am partial to the version 2 overall myself. That really fits into my style of play when it comes to clan mechs, even though I can get behind version 3. So version 2 and version 3 are fine. I have a tendency, when I look at the prime version with the 2 Gauss rifle, that's a lot of weapons wrapped up with the weight of those 2 Gauss rifles, when a pair of ERPPCs in version 3 would work just as good, and you get a targeting computer. Yeah, I'm more inclined to go that route. And I said, yeah, you got to deal with heat. Yeah, but you got the heat sinks to go with it. So of the versions I like, 2 is my favorite, 3 is the second, and then the prime is the third, and the version 4 is fourth. So you may prefer one of the other ones in different configurations. So there you go. That is the Glass Spider Galahad in a nutshell. Well, I hope you guys like it for episode 242. Yeah, definitely 242. And we'll see you in the next one. Elcrix out.